Title: The Haunting of Elmwood House. In a small, picturesque town nestled among rolling hills, there stood a grand but weathered mansion known as Elmwood House. For decades, it had been abandoned, its windows boarded up and its once vibrant gardens now overgrown with weeds. The townspeople whispered about the house's dark past, but no one dared to venture inside. One crisp autumn day, a young couple, Sarah and David, moved into the town. They were eager to start a new chapter in their lives, and were undeterred by the stories surrounding Elmwood House. Drawn to its grandeur and potential, they decided to purchase the mansion at a surprisingly low price. They saw it as a blank canvas, a place where they could create their dream home. As they began to settle in, strange occurrences started happening. At first, it was just small things: flickering lights, doors creaking open on their own, and cold drafts in the hallways. Sarah and David brushed it off as the quirks of an old house. But as days turned into weeks, the events became more unsettling. One night, Sarah awoke to the sound of footsteps echoing through the halls. She nudged David awake, and together they crept downstairs. The sound led them to the dining room, where they found an old portrait of a stern-looking man hanging crookedly on the wall. David adjusted the painting, but as soon as he turned away, it fell with a loud crash. The couple decided to investigate the history of Elmwood House. They visited the town's library and unearthed old newspaper articles and records. They discovered that the house had once belonged to a wealthy but reclusive man named Jonathan Whitaker. He was rumored to have dabbled in dark arts and was found dead under mysterious circumstances. Since then, every subsequent owner had either fled in terror or met a tragic end. Sarah and David realized they were not alone in the house. The disturbances grew more frequent and violent. Objects were thrown across rooms, and eerie whispers filled the air at night. One evening, Sarah saw a ghostly figure of a man standing at the foot of their bed, his eyes filled with sorrow and anger. She screamed, and the apparition vanished. Terrified, the couple reached out to a local historian and paranormal expert, Mrs. Henderson. She agreed to visit Elmwood House and conduct an investigation. Armed with her tools and extensive knowledge, she spent a night in the house with Sarah and David. Mrs. Henderson sensed a powerful and malevolent presence. She explained that Jonathan Whitaker's spirit was trapped in the house, tormented by his own misdeeds. To free the house from his hauntings, they needed to perform a cleansing ritual and help the spirit find peace. The next night, Mrs. Henderson led the couple through the ritual. They gathered in the dining room, where the disturbances seemed most intense. Candles flickered in the dim light as Mrs. Henderson recited ancient incantations. Suddenly, the room grew cold, and a chilling wind swept through. Jonathan Whitaker's spirit appeared, more tangible than ever before. His face twisted in anguish, he begged for release. Sarah, feeling a surge of compassion, stepped forward and spoke to him. She told him that his time of suffering was over, and he could find peace. She promised to honor his memory and restore Elmwood House to its former glory. With tears in his eyes, the spirit of Jonathan Whitaker slowly dissipated, his anguished cries fading into the night. The house, once filled with malice, seemed to exhale a sigh of relief. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the warmth returned to its halls. Over the following months, Sarah and David worked tirelessly to restore Elmwood House. They transformed it into a beautiful home, filled with love and laughter. The townspeople, once fearful, now admired their courage and dedication. Elmwood House became a symbol of resilience and renewal. The couple's experience taught them a valuable lesson about facing fears and helping those in need, even if they are no longer among the living. They realized that sometimes the past must be confronted and understood before one can truly move forward. The story of Elmwood House spread throughout the town and beyond. Visitors came to see the transformed mansion and hear the tale of how Sarah and David freed a tormented spirit. Elmwood House stood as a testament to the power of compassion and courage, a reminder that even in the darkest places, light can prevail.